Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Peace, family. This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism. I'm here to answer some questions in relation to my last video, Black African Infrastructure Redux, where I went into an explanation of what I meant by infrastructure, hard infrastructure, soft infrastructure, and basically where I was coming from in regards to that. One of the brothers in the comments section, Chaos Man 81, peace to you, by the way. And any man that has John Henry Clark as his icon is dude for me. we cool. But he had asked me a question and I wanted to answer it because I was feeling like limited by the characters on the comments, and I wanted to answer the question that he had asked me. So bear with me because I'm looking it up. Okay. He says, I get that infrastructure is a must. I even think that some of the conscious community, okay, a small percentage, get that as well. The problem I'm seeing with this equation is that when these scientists and architects get together, what is the factor or factors that are going to keep the cohesion? If their principles are not in agreement, what is stopping a rival nation or an enemy from taking these important people from us? In my videos, one of the things that, like, I don't really attack Christians. I do attack Christian ideology at certain points. I don't attack Muslims. I attack Islam and Muslim ideology, for lack of a better word. I don't believe in attacking individuals just to be attacking individuals. Usually when I'm going against someone, it's because I'm going against something that they believe in that I think is destructive to what it is that we're trying to do as a collective. That's why I came up with the talking point smash. It's like certain things I'll address because they need to be addressed. Because if they get repeated too often, people will start thinking that it's truth to them. So if I could just smash it out of existence, and that way when somebody comes up and tries to say it again, people will go, well, you know, that's some bullshit because in Holla's video he did this or whatever, or if somebody else does it, you know, then it invalidates that talking point. I hate saying ideology, but I mean, I can't think of a better word. My way of looking at things is that all of these discussions about principles, ideology, beliefs are irrelevant to the discussion that Black African people should be having at this moment right now. The one thing that we do have to do, this is the one thing that we have to do. And I mean, a lot of people mirror what I'm saying, but they change the words. Like, I say we have to acknowledge ourselves as African people. And the reason why I say as African people, there's a socio-economic and political reason why I'm saying that. If you say that we have to acknowledge ourselves as black people, it's too vague for me. I'm sorry, it's just too vague. And and it can mean, it's like, where is black land? What's black culture? It's too vague. We are dealing with the richest continent on the face of the earth, the original birthplace of man, which is us, the black man, the black woman. This is indisputable. No one has come up with any information that can get rid of that hard, cold reality. Africa is our motherland. And I've heard all kinds of, oh man, all kinds of jump roping and skipping and bullshitting off of that reality. First, it's well, Africa is not the original name of that land. Who gives a fuck? That's what it's called now. I've said that 1,000 times. I don't give a shit what the original name of Africa was. It's not called that now. And the reason why it's not called that now is because black African people are not in power. When we are in power, we can name that land or that particular portion of land on the globe whatever the fuck we want to name it. But until you get control and get power, you go by the name of what that land is known by everybody else on the fucking planet. And if you won't like that name, get control of the land and change it. I've said that so many fucking times, I can't even say, I feel stupid when I keep repeating myself with that. So I'm not going to say it anymore. I'm not going to say that anymore. We have to acknowledge ourselves as African people, meaning if you're in the Caribbean, you're an African that's in the Caribbean. If you're in the UK, you're an African that's in the UK. If you're in America, you're an African that's in America. Wherever you are on this land, you are an African. It just where you happen to be. If it isn't Africa, if it isn't that land mass, if you're not a continental African, doesn't matter. You're still an African. Now, if we look at ourselves as that as a people, then that one thing, I'm not even asking for you to change your supposed ideology, how you view religion, what you think is the master this and whatever. I don't care about all that. You have to have a common denominator or one common theme if you're going to move masses of people. And for me, and based on my limited experience on this earth, and based on my analysis, this is the conclusion that I've come to. And the thing that makes it so beautiful for me is, I'm not asking you to change your ideology. In my ideal world, in my perfect world, we would have, you know what, I'll just pick a land. Let's say Liberia. We establish a hard infrastructure in Liberia, meaning we develop roadways, highways. We develop electrical power, well, I should say power system. We develop a transportation system. We develop irrigation. Like we make it a modern infrastructure, hard infrastructure, things in place. Once we do that, then we have developed our soft infrastructure, our institutions to help maintain that hard infrastructure. Now keep in mind, all of the things that I just mentioned right now have nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with ideology. It's almost like, what difference does it make if I'm eating Chinese food, Italian, Irish, or Korean, or whatever, if I don't have the fucking table set and the utensils to eat? That's the best way I can put it. We're so concerned about, well, damn, I don't know if we could eat the noodles, or maybe we should eat the fried rice, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we want some jerk chicken. Who gives a fuck? What I'm concentrating on is setting up the table, providing the utensils so that no matter what the meal is, you can enjoy it and eat it like a civilized person. So we get into this principles. I said on my comments, and please, brother, don't think that I'm getting upset with you. I'm not getting upset with you or the question you asked. It's just that I'm trying to launch a preemptive assault on all the other questions that are going to come as a result of this, and questions that I've done before. So it's not that I'm mad at you. I want to stress that. But I answered the question that the brother asked me on the comments page, and I said, what is the principle that will keep an irrigation system together? What are the principles that will help you maintain a power grid? What are the principles that will help you maintain roads and highways? What are the principles that will help you maintain a transportation system? The principles should be to sustain and maintain those systems. What sane person would disagree with that? And what I meant by that is, I'm not trying to change, like we talk about principles as if we have these prerequisites that people have to meet before we can get together. And I feel that the prerequisites in a lot of ways are bullshit. I have one prerequisite. Do you acknowledge your brother and sister, no matter what their ideology, no matter what their religion is? Do you acknowledge them as black African brothers and sisters? Regardless, we disagree strongly. I mean, there's brothers and sisters that are atheists. There's brothers and sisters that are Christian. There's brothers and sisters that are Muslim. There's brothers and sisters that are into Kemet and history, Buddhism. Brothers and sisters of all ideological persuasions, all sexual persuasions. Or I mean, I can go into a laundry list of how the differences are. But what I'm saying is, are we one people? Because if we're not, if you can look at a Christian child and say, fuck them, they not Muslim. Or look at a Muslim child and say, well, fuck them, they don't believe in Kemet. Really? If you can do that, I'm really not interested in dealing with you on any level. Because you don't have not 1 ounce of love. And I've made this statement before, and it's going unchallenged. What separates a brother that's in the Nation of Islam from a brother that's a 5%er, from a brother that's a Christian, from a brother that's a Muslim, from a brother that's a Hebrew Israelite? What separates them all? That's what they chose to call themselves. There's been brothers that's been in the Nation of Islam. There's been brothers that's been a Hebrew Israelite. There's been brothers that's been Christian. They've been Muslim. They've been in Buddhism. They've then gotten into Kemet. Now, if they are their ideology, how were they able to be a part of all of those groups? I mean, did anybody run a DNA test before they got in those groups? How can you be a member of the Nation of Islam and a Hebrew Israelite at the same time? What does that tell you? That tells you that all of these ideologies are just personal choices that we make. We can call ourselves anything, but what we are never changes, and what we are black African people. That's the principle. That's the only principle. Now, the only other principle is, should black African people have an infrastructure? Should we have social, economic, and political control over that infrastructure? Should we have roads and highways that we build and that we employ our people? Should we have transportation systems? Should we have electric and gas and steam and solar and tidal and wind and geothermal and all of this shit? Should we have that hard infrastructure where we take a piece of land and we make it our own? And then once we establish that hard infrastructure on the land that we get, then we develop those soft infrastructure, those institutions to help maintain that system. And like I said, everything that I've just said has nothing to do with whether you believe in Jesus or Allah. Now, after the infrastructure is set, once we put in all of the hard infrastructure, once we get the institutions set up to maintain it, have at it. Y'all can go crazy arguing back and forth about who did what, which God is the best God, which religion is this, who did the truth. Then you can get into all of that. You can argue, fuss, and fight. You can do exactly what Americans do right now. Americans have all types of ideologies, all types of persuasions, and all types of things they believe in and don't believe in. But the one thing that they do have in common, nobody fucks with America. If anybody fucks with America, they all come together because they all acknowledge that they are Americans, just like we should acknowledge that we are Africans. It's the same damn thing. I'm not intelligent enough to articulate it any better than I've articulated. I can't, I don't know what to say, man. It seems like I'm making the same video, but with saying the same thing and in different ways. I really don't know how to put it any simpler, but that's it. That's it. So the principle is, do you think that we should have control of our environment? And should we first establish who the fuck we, us, and our is? Should we acknowledge that we are African people? Now, if somebody doesn't want to acknowledge that we are African people, I really don't have no conversation for you. Do you do your thing, get into your little clique and your little small demographic of people and build yourself a school or a neighborhood or a community that could probably be taken away from you once your leader has a problem with some hookers or some children. Do it. Let's keep repeating the same bullshit over and over and over again until we get it through our thick fucking skulls that we're all the same damn people, that we need each other as a support system against this white, racist, white supremacist system. We need each other as a support system. In my perfect world, if a Muslim brother went out in the streets and got killed by a cop, you would have Muslims, you have Christians, you would have Hebrew Israelites, you have Nation of Islam, you have everybody out on the streets saying, yo, you cannot touch our brothers and our sisters without repercussions and consequences. That's how I feel. That's what I feel is a properly functional nation. Not a whole bunch of people slow necking and dick riding off the same philosophy and thinking the same goddamn thing. That is very narrow way of looking at reality. And if we are going to come together as a people, we have to acknowledge the fact that this system does not see these variances. They don't see these differences that we blow up to be so big and gigantic. What they see is black African people. They didn't care what religion Trayvon Martin was. All they saw was a dead black African, and it was good enough for them. Now the question is, do we value our lives enough to protect our lives and protect our people and protect our children and protect our elders? Well, if we do, then we need to get on the fucking page, the same page, and start thinking about infrastructure, hard infrastructure, soft infrastructure. We need to start thinking about fucking land. And we need to start thinking about how we can utilize the resources that's in Africa to help us develop our soft infrastructure here in America if you choose to stay, or our soft infrastructure on the continent wherever we build that piece of land. And that, I mean, if anybody has any other questions, please feel free to ask me. I don't know what more I can say, but that's about all I can say for now. All right? I'll talk to you good people later. Peace.